No one does it quite like the French, and Julia Ducournau has very quickly skyrocketed to like the top of my favorite working directors. So let's talk about Titane. Titane is the newest film by Julia Ducournau, the director of Raw, one of my all-time favorite movies, and is the feature film debut of Agatha Rousselle as Alexia, a young woman with a titanium plate in her head. And what follows is a film that is beautiful and emotional and transgressive and weird as hell and pretty damn nauseating. And I loved it. Titane is the holy shit movie of 2021. There's nothing I've ever seen quite like it. And there's nothing to really describe the levels of emotion and discomfort that I felt throughout the entire runtime. I can't even really talk about the movie overall without at least minor spoilers, so if you want to know nothing, I would suggest just watching the movie. It is really, really good. It is very weird, but if you're not looking to go into it completely blind, here we go. So as I said, Alexia is a girl with a titanium plate in her head, following a car accident when she was a little girl, and now as a young woman she works nights at car shows, dancing on cars in her underwear to attract potential buyers. Also, she's a serial killer. Also, she has sex with one of the show cars, and gets pregnant from one of the show cars. So yeah, this movie is very French. It's extremely out there. It's also one of the most transfixing, beautiful films I've ever seen, and much like Raw, the more transgressive elements of it are just window dressing for a story that is very real and very human, and tackling themes of love and redemption and identity and transformation, both metaphorical and very literal. Titane is essentially two distinct films that bridge together. On one hand, we're following Alexia. On the other hand, we're following Vincent, an aging firefighter who's struggling to cope with the fact that he's aging and the loss of his son, who disappeared some 10 or so years earlier. And Alexia ends up filling that hole in his life in a way that is confusing and extremely uncomfortable and really anxiety-inducing to watch as a viewer, but also deeply moving and kind of beautiful. And we watch these two lonely, misunderstood souls find something truly important in one another, and form this really strong, meaningful bond out of a horrific lie. Of course, all of that is wrapped inside a package of absolutely brutal violence and body horror, and some really intense sexuality as well. And the result is as nauseating as it is emotionally resonant. It combines the more grotesque elements of films like Tetsuo the Iron Man and films from David Cronenberg with incredibly human drama to create this wildly off-putting experience that hasn't left my head since my first viewing. There's no quicker way to make me feel ill than to combine metalwork with the human body, and this movie does that. There are several moments here that capture the same gag-inducing energy as the finger scene from Raw or the hair scene from Raw. And there's one moment very early on in the film that had me physically wincing, not from the actual action, but from the buildup of what you know is about to happen. The lead performances are solid as hell, with Agatha Rousselle being the standout and delivering so much depth to Alexia with barely any dialogue. There isn't a lot to go off of with this character on the surface. As far as exposition goes, they don't really give you anything. But she's selling so much depth with just her body language and the look she's giving. You can tell so much about this character just from the way she looks at her father and their lack of communication. It's an electric performance, and it's one that I don't think the movie would have worked nearly as well without, which is impressive because this is apparently her feature film debut, and by the end of this movie, she's delivering a really solid performance under some intense prosthetics as well. I think what surprised me most about Titane is that despite its truly visceral body horror, there's a deeply moving story at its core, showcasing the incredible redemptive power of unconditional love and what that can provide to even the most broken people, all the while delivering some shocking, gross, and stunningly beautiful visuals, along with some cringe-inducing sound design and a banger soundtrack. It showcases my favorite things about Raw, but this time it's delivered with so much more confidence in itself, and I really appreciate that. For a movie that's essentially about a woman who gets impregnated by a car, it ends up being a really beautiful think piece that doesn't let its body horror get in the way of its emotional resonance. It's the way that Julia Ducournau manages to balance wildly conflicting tones like that is really impressive to me and makes her probably, like I said, one of my favorite working directors today. I cannot wait for more people to check this out. I can't wait to see what she does next. If you've seen Titane and you want to talk about it, please chime in below. I would love to hear your thoughts. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you like this channel, you want to see more, click down there, like, comment, subscribe. Patreon link is in the description if you want to donate to this channel and help us grow, make new, better quality content for you all to enjoy. I'd really appreciate that, but even if you don't, thank you so much for watching anyway. I'll see you all very soon.